Reacher's bestie Needley is set to get her own spin-off, which has the chance to revisit the story of Tom Cruise's 2012 movie. Lee Child's Jack Reacher books have been bestsellers for over 20 years, but casting an actor with both the hulking physique and smarts of the character proved near impossible when it came to a movie version. This is why Tom Cruise was cast as Reacher when it was decided it was more important to convey the character's determination and detective brain than flexing his muscles. Cruise's casting remains controversial for fans since the Wandering Avenger's size is an important part of Child's novels. Still, the critical reputation of Cruise's Jack Reacher film has only grown over time and is now considered one of the star's most underrated works. Alan Ritchson inherited the part for Amazon's Reacher, and the show has proven both a critical and ratings hit. It's such a success that Reacher's best friend Needley, Maria Sten, is set to get her very own solo series too, via Deadline. The Needley spin-off should read Ap One Shot. The story for the Reacher spin-off is currently unknown. It should be noted that while the Needley show is nearing a green light, it's still not officially confirmed. No potential story details have been revealed either, though Alan Ritchson's Reacher is expected to make a guest appearance. Given that Needley is a former member of Reacher's elite 110th Special Investigators and works as a private investigator, there are plenty of scenarios where she could find herself in trouble. If the Needley spin-off must adapt one of Child's books, then readapting One Shot would be the most logical choice for it. One Shot is the 9th novel in the Jack Reacher book series and follows the titular character as he investigates a mass shooting. Reacher knows the alleged killer James Barr from his time in the military, which is what pulls him into the investigation. One Shot is considered one of the best of the series, so it made a natural choice for the Christopher McQuarrie-helmed film. That said, it had to change a lot from Child's source material, but a TV adaptation would give it way more breathing room. Changes would have to be made to swap out Needley for Reacher, but since One Shot's case relates directly to their time in the 110th, it could work. Needley would have encountered James Barr too, so it's conceivable she would get contacted about the case, especially since Reacher isn't the easiest guy to get in touch with. Considering Needley hasn't fronted any solo novels of her own, using the blueprint of a classic Reacher case for the spin-off's first season wouldn't be a bad idea. Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher movie condensed much of One Shot's story. Cruise's film also dropped Reacher's wildest kill. Both of Cruise's Jack Reacher movies had to chop out passages and characters from their novels to work as feature-length narratives. Never Go Back changed far more, but Jack Reacher excised several characters from One Shot to get the story moving faster. A major character in the book is reporter Yanni, who aids Reacher's investigation in hopes of covering the story herself. Despite being a key figure in Child's book, she is completely absent from the 2012 thriller. Also missing is Barr's sister Rosemary, who again plays an important part in the story. Much of their plot function went to Rosamund Pike's defense attorney Helen Rodin, which is an example of the changes McQuarrie had to make to condense the book's plot. That also means that a Needley-led adaptation of One Shot would have more time to let the story unfold as it did in the Child's text. The movie and book play out in broadly similar fashions, but the specifics are often different. It would be a terrible idea for Amazon's Reacher to remake One Shot. In the case of Tom Cruise versus Alan Ritchson, everybody loses. Reacher Season 2 adapted Bad Luck and Trouble, where the surviving 110th reunited to find out who killed some of their friends. In Amazon's adaptation, the show seemingly ruled out a direct one-shot adaptation, with Reacher cryptically claiming he ran into Barr in Indiana a year prior. This is where the one-shot novel is set, with the implication being that the events of that story played out in between seasons. This was read as a smart move since it ruled out the show redoing One Shot in the future. In truth, this would be a terrible idea, and would needlessly reignite the controversy over Cruise's Jack Reacher casting again. It's not a hot take to suggest Ritchson is a better fit for the role in terms of size and screen persona, so it might be seen as petty for Amazon's thriller to remake One Shot with a more suitable actor in the role. Plus, there are over 20 other novels in Child series for future seasons to focus on, with more being published every year. Reacher isn't hurting for stories to adapt, so there would be little to gain from going back to One Shot. That said, the source material is just different enough that Neagali's solo series could use it as inspiration. The Neagali show needs to stay true to Lee Child's books. The Reacher offshoot has no clear roadmap. Reacher has been such an oversized hit for Amazon it makes sense to try a spin-off, and Neagali is the perfect character to attempt it with. Sten played a supporting role in Season 1, despite Neagali never even appearing in the sourcebook Killing Floor and stole her scenes, and returned for a leading role the second year. What's tricky for the spin-off is that Neagali has never fronted a novel, so the question is, do the showrunners rework an existing Reacher story or invent one wholesale? It will be intriguing to see which direction they take, but the show must remain true to Child's work. The author has a distinct grasp of plot and character, and for the most part, Reacher has done a great job capturing that. If the story is original, it would be good for Lee Child to serve as a creative consultant or even write some of the spin-off himself. The worst thing that could happen would be to take a great character like Neagali and strand her in some bog-standard procedural. The spin-off needs to be more than a pale imitation of Reacher itself, which is why pulling from the work of Child is crucial. Whether the show does or not is another story. Reacher's new spin-off can finally revisit the story from Tom Cruise's 2012 movie. The world of Jack Reacher is one that has captured the imaginations of audiences for years, ever since Lee Child's books brought the larger-than-life character to life. In 2012, Tom Cruise took on the role of the titular hero in Jack Reacher, a film based on the novel One Shot. The movie, while an exciting and fast-paced ride, left many fans with a lingering question: what would happen if the story of Reacher's origin and his complex past could be explored in greater depth? With the success of the Reacher spin-off series now streaming on Amazon Prime Video, this question could finally be answered in a new, thrilling direction. The 2012 Jack Reacher film introduced audiences to a hard-edged, methodical hero who would stop at nothing to uncover the truth. In the film, Reacher, a former military police major, arrives in the small town of Indiana to investigate a sniper's deadly attack on 5 innocent civilians. As the story unfolds, Reacher reveals more about the motivations behind the crime and ultimately brings justice to those involved.